Hello everybody, welcome back to Blue Jay Acres. My name is Noelle. Thank you so much for stopping by. And today we're going to just show you what we're eating here on the farm. And we're going to go in and start with some breakfast. And then we're going to move into dinner because we're kind of doing more of a brunch and keeping it pretty simple because we're pretty busy here. So let's jump into brunch. All right everybody, we are going to make pancakes this morning, but we're going to make some cinnamon apple pancakes. First I'm going to start with some flour. Now I'm going to do 2.5 cups of flour. I'm going to make just the regular pancake batter first so I can pull some out for Luke and Theo. And then I'm going to add the apples and stuff like that. So I'm going to add that. I'm going to do sugar. Two tablespoons of sugar. Two tablespoons of baking powder. A teaspoon of salt. And I am just going to stir this up. Next, I'm going to do 2 beaten eggs. I'm going to do about 1/4 cup of melted butter. And I'm going to use milk. Now this milk is my raw milk, so it is separated with the cream, so I need to just shake it up really good. And then I can add that. About 2 cups worth. We're just going to stir this all together. These are truly the best pancakes. I say it every time, but they really are. And then you can just make it as thin or thick as you want. You want to add about 2 cups, but we always add a little bit more. We like them a little thinner. About how we like it. So I'm going to just remove some of this batter so that I can keep it just plain for the boys. And then I'm going to just peel this apple real quick. And then I'm just going to grate some apple in here. Just don't make it pour. Then I'm going to add some cinnamon. And some vanilla. Just stir that all together. And this will be our apple cinnamon pancakes. Oh, it smells so good. Already smells so good. Okay, I'm gonna just start with the plain pancakes, just because I want to make sure that nothing affects the flavor for Luke. If you are new and don't know, that is my son that has autism, and he is very particular about his food. So I want to make sure that his is perfect. They need to get a little bit browner. Does that mean Mom and Dad are dinosaurs? Now I'm going to do the apple cinnamon. It smells so good. All right, Charles is gonna do a taste test. They smell divine.
Yeah, I'm really hungry too.
Hold on. Let me let him see.
Very fluffy.
I don't know that they're fluffy, but
They are. They're thin, but
we like them thin.
Mm.
Do you taste the apple and the cinnamon?
You absolutely do. Absolutely.
Yay.
It's just a hint stronger than the syrup flavor, which makes it perfect. I had to get a second opinion.
All right, we're gonna go eat breakfast.
Let's eat. This is good.
All right, sorry I hadn't been on in a couple days, guys. We just had stuff going on, and between storms and just everything, I fell behind on getting some housework done. I need to get that done. Just a lot of things just kind of bottled up and overflowed into where we had to get stuff done. And this morning we had our septic tank backing up, and it's been a couple days of craziness. But it is time to start dinner now. And so we are gonna make a cheap man's, or a poor man's version of a beef Wellington. So let's get started on that. The very first thing I gotta do is make a puff pastry, because I don't have any kind of puff pastry or anything like that here at the house, since we make pretty much everything from scratch. So we're gonna make a puff pastry. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is start with the flour. For that, I wanna level out my spoons. I'm doing 3/4 cup of flour. And then I'm also gonna add 2 tablespoons. And I'm just leveling it all out. Then we're gonna add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. then I'm just gonna mix this. Now normally when I make biscuits or anything else, I use my fingers, my hands to cut everything in. I'm not gonna do that with the puff pastry. I want everything to be as ice cold as possible. I have water sitting here that's filled with ice, with also cold fridge water, just to get it good and ice cold. Now we're gonna get our butter out. And we're gonna use a little over a half a cup of butter. And again, I don't want to hold it in my hands too much because I'm not trying to get it melted at all. So a little over a half cup, and we're going to cut this in. We want to add about 1/4 cup of ice water. And I'm going to stir that in with my pastry cutter. Again, try not to use much with my hands, just at the very end. Form this into a ball so that I will be able to put this on my sheet. And just tiniest drop more water. Okay, next. Move the flour back there. We're going to flour our surface. We don't want it to stick. And we're going to flour our rolling pin. Then we're going to take our puff pastry. And we're going to just roll this into a rectangle. Kind of pushing it together as we go. Then I'm going to fold it, and I'm going to fold it, and I'm going to fold it, and I'm going to turn it. Spreading all that down. Again, we're going to fold it, fold it. We're going to do this about 6 to 9 times. If you need to add more flour to keep things from sticking, then you just add more flour. Make it a little bit fatter. flour down here. Flour here. Then we are going to put this, when we're done, in the fridge for an hour. Or if you want, you can always freeze it for 30 to 50 minutes. You can leave it in the fridge longer than an hour. Like you can make this in the morning and use it at dinner. You can make it a couple days before. You can make it and leave it in the freezer till whenever you're ready to use it. I'm going to do it about 2 more times, and then I'm going to wrap it and put it in the fridge to rest. And now I have some of this press and seal wrap, and I'm going to put this here, and it's about 3/18, so I'm just going to roll this and put this in my fridge for about an hour, and then we'll be ready to start making dinner. Okay, so I went ahead and made a second one just like we just did the first one, so I can make an apple cinnamon tart for dessert. So when it comes down to that, I just made it just exactly the same as I just showed you, making the one for the poor man's beef Wellington. Okay, so next I'm going to cut up my vegetables. Actually, I'm going to cut it this way. And we want them pretty small. Sorry, I'm going to say it was a sleepless night. Those storms were loud last night. But yeah, I'm going to cut this pretty small. And I'm going to try and cut everything pretty small. So I'm going to add some onion, carrot, celery, potatoes, and some garlic. And we're going to cook this up, and then we're going to add it to our meat mixture, or our meats, and we'll add a few more things as well. So right now, though, I'm just trying to cut this up really small. So someone asked if we will stay on a tight budget after we get out of debt. And a couple of people have actually asked that. And the answer is yes, we actually plan to spend less and less and less at the grocery. Hopefully next year we spend even less. In fact, I'm going to try and do a 1-year shop for groceries, except for fresh produce next year. That is my goal. We'll see what happens. But we will be getting in on tighter budgets. So we got 1 large onion here, diced up. I'm going to cut the potato small as well. So I talked to Jake on the phone, and he told me he wants a beef roast for Easter. So we are going to have a beef roast with like mashed potatoes and gravy, and I haven't decided what else. Dinner rolls, of course. Haven't really decided what else. We don't do a dessert on Easter because everybody has candy. Because my kids, no matter how old you are, the Easter Bunny brings you a basket. Does not matter. So there's lots of candy in the house. Plus we do an Easter egg hunt. We do one the night before with flashlights, and we do one Easter morning. So we have lots of candy going on. Okay, so now I'm going to do the carrot the same. I'm going to cut these into smaller pieces. And the celery as well. So those of you with grown children, do you still do like an Easter basket kind of thing? I don't know. I probably always will. I don't know. Jake is 26, almost 27. And, you know, still doing it. Alright, so I'm going to start by heating some olive oil. I'm going to add all these veggies in here and get those cooked up. And then we're going to have to let these cool after we're done. I'm going to add some salt. And some pepper. And I'm going to add some rosemary. Now the recipe calls for fresh rosemary, like 4 sticks of it, but I don't have any, so we're using dried. So we're just going to let these cook for a few minutes until they start to get cooked through. Alright, now I'm going to add some minced garlic. I'm just going to let this go for 1 minute, and then we're going to remove this from the heat and let this cool off. And once it cools, we can assemble the beef log that we're making. Alright, that's it. I'm going to remove this from the heat and let it cool off. Alright, so while we're waiting for that to cool off, we're going to go on and roll out this dough. So I'm going to add some more flour down here. I hadn't picked up this vest yet because I knew we needed to still roll stuff out. And then we are going to roll this out the best we can. It's very cold and stiff. Turn it down here, my man. I'm gonna take 1 egg. That just lost like half of my weight. And I'm just gonna beat this together. Now I just lost half of my weight, so I'm gonna use that here. I am just going to brush it on the edges. And if I didn't say it already, my oven is preheated to 350 degrees. I can't remember if I already told you that. So here I've got a pound of beef, ground beef. I'm gonna add all of our veggies to this. And I'm going to add a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of pepper. I'm also going to add most of the egg mixture, saving just a little bit to put on the top. And that should be it. I'm just going to mix this all together. A couple little pieces that were still kind of frozen. I just want to mix this really good with my hands.
I'll be back.
Where are you going?
I cut it as close to the frame of the house as I could downstairs, and it's too short.
You're going back to Home Depot?
Yep, I have to go return this one and get the right size. And apparently I've got to get a drill bit big enough to drill a hole in the brick.
Tilt my camera up a little bit, please. A little bit more. All right, that's good. Okay, now I'm just gonna kind of put this down over here. Okay, and then I'm gonna take and wrap my dough up. I'm gonna wash my hands real quick. I'm gonna wrap my other side around. And then I wanna just kind of wrap in the sides, kind of like you're wrapping a present. Okay. I'm going to take my pan, or my baking pan. I'm just going to kind of flip it so the seam side is down. And then we're going to do an egg wash on the top. And this is going to bake at 350 degrees for about an hour, or just until it's nice and golden. Alright, I'm going to pop that in the oven. Alright, next I'm going to start the apple tart because I've still got this whole mess going here. And I just want to go on and finish with this mess. I'm going to get my other pastry out. And we're going to roll this one out. Now I've got my dish here. I'm gonna just spray my dish down. And I'm just gonna lay the puff pastry here. And get it going up the sides and everything. Now I'm gonna get out my little handy apple peeler corer here. And I'm gonna get some green apples peeled and cored. We're just making a super fast and easy tart today. I have a bunch of apples, so tomorrow I need to make some applesauce and can it. So I'll share that with you guys tomorrow. But this is also a good way to use some of those apples. And then I'm going to put my apple slices in here. I'm going to just a little bit of lemon juice. Just toss them around a little bit. But then I am just going to start laying out my apples. And we're just going to do this the whole way down. Then I'm just going to take some of our homemade brown sugar and I'm going to put it all over the top. Then I'm just going to grind a little bit of salt. And a little bit of cinnamon. And then this is ready to go in the oven with the beef. Okay, my hair thing broke when I was in the middle of cooking. But I'm going to go on now and I'm going to get all of this cleaned up, get my kitchen cleaned up. While all of that's baking, and then all we have to do left is just a side dish, and that's it. And dinner will be ready. Okay, so with this, I'm gonna just drizzle some olive oil and we're gonna make some asparagus. This is absolutely one of my favorite vegetables. I've got to get asparagus planted because it takes years to grow. We are getting it done this year. It's just finding a permanent spot is the hardest thing. I'm gonna add some salt to this. And a little pepper. And then we're going to make a hollandaise sauce to drizzle on top. But I'm going to put this in the oven with the other two things while that's almost done. Okay, I turned this to a medium-high heat. We're going to make the hollandaise sauce. So you're going to start with about 1/4 cup of butter. And you could just double this recipe if you needed to make more. About 1/4 cup of butter. Oh my goodness. We're gonna let that melt. And I got my whisk out. To this I am gonna add a little bit of lemon juice from a fresh squeezed lemon. I'm gonna add 2 egg yolks. Just kind of get that going. And then I've got a few tablespoons of milk here that I'm gonna add as well. And you're just gonna whisk, whisk, whisk until this gets thick. Only takes like a minute. And then I turn it off. That is already thick. You guys can see that. It's already getting good and thick. And if you want, you can taste it. And add a little bit more lemon juice if you want. Alright, so this would be a beautiful, beautiful Easter dinner. I would totally make this for my Easter dinner, except for my son wants roast. But this is, I would add, well, if I was doing Easter dinner, I would add some carrots maybe, some glazed carrots, and some mashed potatoes, and I would make a gravy to pour over the Wellington, and I would also have gravy then for the mashed potatoes, and I think that would be a gorgeous dinner for Easter. The other thing you could do is you could make the beef Wellington prettier by making a cross out of some of the puff pastry and putting that on top. You can buy puff pastry. You don't even have to make your own if you don't want to. I just think this would be a gorgeous dinner for Easter, and you can dress it up however you want. And I think that might be my plan for next year. All right, this is almost done. Okay, so here it is, all done. We'll cut that open here in just a minute. Have a tart. That'd be great with like some vanilla ice cream and our asparagus with the hollandaise sauce. Now let me cut this open. All right, so here's what it looks like. Here's what it looks like on the inside. That's so beautiful. So I'm gonna make up Charles a plate, and he is gonna taste test for you guys. So here it is, all plated, and he's gonna give it a try for you guys. It smells so good. And of course, if this was Easter, I would have it plated really pretty on a pretty white plate with maybe some like leaves of lettuce down before I put down the beef Wellington, and some, I don't know, different things around it, just to dress it up and make it look really pretty. And the same with the everything else. I just have it on really pretty plates to make everything look really pretty, and then it would be just a gorgeous Easter dinner. All right, here's Charles. Okay, Charles is gonna give it a try. I already tried it all. I'm gonna tell you, I think it's fantastic.
This is like, first thing I noticed is this is super flaky. Like,
and it's so buttery. It's so good, you guys. A gravy would definitely be good on top, just not drowning it in gravy, just a little drizzle of gravy, but it's so good.
Mmm. I don't even know how to describe it. It's good.
It tastes a little bit like a pot pie, but not really. I don't know. It's very good.
No, it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on, I gotta do another piece before I try the asparagus.
I said this would make a beautiful Easter dinner. I would just add a couple things like some glazed carrots and some mashed potatoes, some gravy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really happy with that. That's good.
All right, you got to try the sauce on it because I made the hollandaise sauce to go with it.
A piece out of the middle.
Yeah.
So I can get the sauce on it. You made a holiday sauce?
It's called hollandaise.
That's good for Easter. Holiday sauce?
Hollandaise.
That sauce actually makes it where you can't even taste the asparagus.
You can too. Not when you drown it in the sauce, but you can. And it's very good. You just hear, he will eat asparagus. It's not his favorite, but he will eat it.
I do like asparagus better than green beans in like the chart of foods.
I know. That's why I said we've got to get it in the ground this year. It's one of my favorites. I could eat asparagus every day. Katie loves it too.
I'm more of an artichoke.
I just noticed I'm filthy.
She's chiming in. I like the artichokes. I know I got to get those planted too. All right. Try the apple tart. I already tried that too. It's all very good.
It's kind of hard to go wrong with anything apple and cinnamon though. You can try it again. It looks good.
Luke's got that going loud now.
That has got an amazingly bold flavor.
Mm-hmm. Now taste just the pastry part, so you can tell me how my puff pastry turned out. I think it's very flaky and buttery. It does not puff as high as like a store-bought puff pastry, but it's still very buttery and flaky, and I definitely would never buy it again.
You get a 10 out of 10 on everything for me.
I think so too. Perfect.
Even the asparagus.
Alright, that's going to wrap it up for tonight, you guys. We are going to go enjoy this beautiful dinner, and I'll see all of you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day or night wherever you are. Bye, everybody.